They say the wasteland changes everyone who enters it. But no one tells you about the cages beneath raider camps where humans are processed like Brahmin meat, where children learn to kill before they learn to read, where doctors become collaborators, and where ordinary people like you and me discover exactly what we're willing to do to survive. I recorded everything on a dying holotape, from my first day in chains to the moment I held the knife myself. And if you genuinely enjoy this kind of dark storytelling, consider subscribing and liking the channel, but only if it truly resonates with you. Because what happened in those cages beneath the Capital Wasteland proves one horrifying truth. The bombs didn't destroy humanity, they just revealed what was always lurking underneath, waiting for civilization to crack. You wake up in chains. The laughter of raiders echoes around you, not the kind of laughter you hear at a campfire or in the old world recordings. This is different. Broken, like glass grinding against concrete. Your head throbs where they hit you, and the taste of copper fills your mouth. Blood. Yours, probably. Though in a raider camp, you can never be sure whose blood you're tasting. I'm recording this on a half-dead holotape I found wedged between two corpses. The battery's dying, just like everything else in this place. But someone needs to know what really happens when the raiders take you. Not the stories you hear in settlements, the sanitized warnings parents give their kids. The truth. The kind that makes you understand why some wastelanders eat a bullet rather than risk capture. They got me 3 days ago, or maybe 4. Time gets strange when they keep you in the pits. I was running a caravan route between Megaton and Rivet City, had done it 100 times before. Thought I knew every ambush point, every rocky outcrop where they like to hide. But raiders, they evolve. They learn. And the ones who survive long enough to build camps like this one, they're not the drug-addled psychos you can outsmart. They're something worse. They're organized. The attack came at dawn, that golden hour when the wasteland almost looks beautiful, when the radiation storms have passed and the sky turns this sick shade of orange-pink. They dug pits along the main road, covered them with tarps and dirt. My Brahmin went down first, both heads screaming as the stakes punched through its belly. The guards I'd hired lasted maybe 30 seconds. One took a sledgehammer to the skull so hard his head just came apart, like a radroach under a boot. They didn't kill me though. That's the thing about raiders that most people don't understand. Death is a mercy in the wasteland. Quick, simple, done. But raiders? They've turned suffering into an art form. 200 years of radiation, mutation and madness have stripped away everything human except our capacity for cruelty. And they've perfected that. The one who knocked me out had a face full of scars arranged in patterns, deliberate patterns. Later, I'd learn each scar represented a settlement they'd burned. 23 scars. 23 communities reduced to ash and bone. They call him Gutsaw, not because he uses a saw, though he does, but because of what he did to his own brother when the man tried to challenge his leadership. Fed him his own intestines, meter by meter, while the whole gang watched and cheered. When I came to, I was here. The pit. That's what they call it, though it's really a series of connected basements from some pre-war apartment complex. They've knocked holes through the walls, creating this maze of cages, fighting rings, and processing areas. You can smell it before you see it. Rot and fear sweat and that particular stench that comes from bodies that have given up. There are 17 of us down here. We're 17, now 15. Thompson didn't survive his first fight, and the woman from Canterbury Commons, well, they took her upstairs last night. We could hear the screaming for 3 hours. Then nothing. Sometimes nothing is worse than screaming. What do you think really happened here? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd like to know if I'm the only one who feels this way. You need to understand something about raider society. It's not chaos. That's the mistake everyone makes. There's a hierarchy, rules, a twisted economy built on violence and fear. The strong take from the weak, yes, but it goes deeper. They've created a culture where brutality is currency, and mercy is weakness. New recruits have to prove themselves by torturing captives. Veterans earn their keep by breaking spirits as efficiently as they break bones. The worst part? Some of them weren't born into this. Some of them were wastelanders like you and me, until the day they weren't. Until the day they looked at the horror and decided it was easier to inflict it than endure it. There's a kid here, can't be more than 16. They call him Matchstick. Used to live in a settlement near Paradise Falls until raiders burned it down. Killed everyone except him. They gave him a choice, join or join the corpses. Now he lights people on fire for fun, laughs while he does it. But sometimes, when he thinks no one's watching, I see him crying. The tears leave clean streaks through the dirt and blood on his face. They keep us in cages made from shopping carts and rebar. The metal's rusted through in places, sharp enough to cut if you're not careful, or if you are careful and need something sharp. 3 people have tried that route. The raiders leave the bodies hanging from the ceiling as a reminder. They're still there, rotating slowly in the drafts that come through the broken ventilation. Shadows dancing on the walls like puppets in some nightmare show. The feeding happens once a day, if we're lucky. They throw in whatever they've scavenged. Moldy Brahmin meat, irradiated water, sometimes pre-war food, so contaminated it glows in the dark. Yesterday they gave us meat, I'm certain came from something human-shaped. The hunger makes you consider, it makes you weigh survival against the parts of yourself you swore you'd never lose. Rodriguez ate it. Had to. His kids are still alive somewhere, and he needs to get back to them. That's what he tells himself while he chews, while he swallows, while his humanity dissolves bit by bit. But the food isn't about keeping us alive. Not really. It's about the fights. Every night they drag 2 of us up to the arena, a concrete room that used to be a maintenance area. They've reinforced the walls with sheet metal and strung up construction lights that buzz and flicker like dying fireflies. The floors stained rust brown from years of blood. Decades, maybe. The raiders pack in, passing around Jet and Psycho, placing bets on who'll die first, who'll beg, who'll break. The rules are simple. Fight until one can't. Usually that means death, but sometimes they stop it early. Not from mercy, they just want to stretch out the entertainment. Make the meat last longer, Gutsor says. Like we're not people anymore, just resources to be managed. Entertainment. To be rationed. I've fought twice. The first time against a ghoul named Marcus who'd been here for 3 months. His skin was falling off in sheets, radiation burns covering most of his body from some punishment I didn't want to know about. He apologized before he swung at me, whispered, "Sorry, sorry, sorry," with each hit. I broke his jaw to shut him up. The sound it made, the way he looked at me with those milky eyes, grateful almost, like I'd freed him from having to speak the words. The second fight was against Rodriguez. Neither of us wanted it, but they'd stopped feeding us for 3 days before. Hunger makes you desperate, makes you vicious. We circled each other like animals, looking for weakness. In the end, I put him down with a piece of rebar to the knee. The raiders laughed, said I fought like a mole rat, all teeth and desperation. They threw me an extra can of water as a reward. I shared it with Rodriguez later. We didn't talk about what happened in the arena. There's nothing to say. Tomorrow they're bringing in someone new, someone special, they keep saying. I heard them talking about it when they thought we were asleep. Something about a Brotherhood deserter, someone who knows things, someone who's going to make an example that'll be remembered across the Capital Wasteland. They're excited in that way they get before something truly horrible happens. The worst part about being captured by raiders isn't the physical pain. It's watching yourself change, feeling your principles erode like limestone in radstorm rain. You tell yourself you'll never break, never become like them. But every day you survive is a day you did something someone else didn't. Every breath is borrowed from someone weaker, slower, less lucky. The guilt builds up like radiation poisoning, invisible but lethal, eating you from the inside. There's a woman here, Catherine, used to be a doctor in Rivet City. She keeps track of the days by scratching marks on her arm with a rusty nail. 47 marks. 47 days of this. She says the human mind starts to normalize trauma after 2 weeks, starts to adapt. By day 47, she says, you're not the same person anymore. You're something else wearing your face, walking in your skin, but fundamentally changed at the molecular level. She should know. Last week, she helped them amputate a prisoner's leg without anesthetic, held him down while they sawed. They needed him alive, but manageable. She did it perfectly, professionally, and afterward, she came back to her cage and added another mark to her arm. The construction lights are flickering more now. Power's intermittent down here. Sometimes we're left in complete darkness for hours, just the sounds of breathing and sobbing, and the skittering of radroaches in the walls. That's when they like to play their games. Move people around in the darkness. Take someone and return them hours later, changed. Or don't return them at all. I can hear them preparing something upstairs. Metal scraping against concrete. Chains rattling. Laughter getting louder and more frequent. The anticipation before a show. They're bringing him down now. The Brotherhood deserter. I can hear the power armor scraping against the stairwell walls. They're making him wear it still, but they've removed the fusion core. 200 pounds of dead metal imprisoning him in his own protection. The symbolism isn't lost on anyone. Raiders might be insane, but they understand irony. His name is Paladin Morrison. Was Paladin Morrison. The Brotherhood doesn't take kindly to desertion. If he ever gets out of here, they'll execute him anyway. But he won't get out. None of us will. I'm starting to accept that now, the way you accept radiation sickness or a missing limb. It's just another fact of existence in the wasteland. They drag him past our cages, letting us all get a good look. He's young, maybe 25, with that clean-cut Brotherhood bearing that takes years to build and seconds to destroy. His left eye is swollen shut, purple-black like a piece of spoiled fruit. They've carved something into his forehead. Traitor in jagged letters that'll scar if he lives long enough. The blood's still fresh, running down his face in thin rivers. Gutsaw follows behind, spinning a ripper blade that's been modified with longer teeth. The sound it makes, like a metallic wasp nest. He's talking to Morrison, casual as old friends. You know what the problem with you Brotherhood types is? Gutsaw asks, not expecting an answer. You think that armor makes you gods. Think technology will save the world. But look around, Tin Man. Technology ended the world. And all your precious knowledge, your codes and protocols, they mean nothing when I crack that helmet open and scramble what's inside. They chain Morrison in the center cage, the one we call the showcase. It's where they put people they want to break publicly. The last person there was a caravan guard who'd killed 6 raiders before they took him. They spent 8 days on him. By the end, he was begging to join them. They let him too. Gave him a sledgehammer and told him to prove his loyalty on his former caravan partner. He did it without hesitation. Then they killed him anyway. Said anyone who'd turn that easily couldn't be trusted. But Morrison's different. He has information they want. Patrol routes, weapon caches, the location of some bunker the Brotherhood's been using. He won't give it up easily. The Brotherhood conditions their people against torture, trains them to resist. But the Raiders have had 200 years to perfect their methods. They don't just hurt the body, they dismantle the mind. It starts with isolation. They leave Morrison in complete darkness for 2 days. No food, minimal water, just enough to keep him conscious. Then comes the noise. They've got these speakers salvaged from some old metro station. They play sounds at volumes that make your teeth ache. Crying babies, screaming, metal grinding on metal, all overlapping until you can't think, can't remember who you are or why you're resisting. Catherine tells me the technical term is cognitive dissolution. The brain literally starts to fragment under that kind of stress. Neural pathways break down. Memory becomes fluid. Identity dissolves like sugar in irradiated water. On day 3, they bring Morrison up to the arena. Not to fight, to watch. They make him watch while they pit 2 kids against each other. Settlers' children they grabbed from a convoy last month. Maybe 10, 11 years old. The boy has a kitchen knife. The girl has a piece of broken glass. Neither wants to fight, but Gutsor has his men pointing rifles at them. Fight or die. Simple equation. If you've ever wondered what choice you would make in a situation like this, tell me in the comments. I'll be reading them. The children circle each other, crying, begging Morrison to help them, to use his brotherhood training, to save them. But he can't move in that dead armor, can barely breathe with the weight crushing his chest. All he can do is watch as survival instinct takes over, as these kids who probably played together in some settlement courtyard try to kill each other with shaking hands. The girl wins, pushes the glass into the boy's throat more by accident than design. The look on her face when she realizes what she's done. That's the moment a child dies and something else is born. The raiders cheer. Give her a can of purified water as a prize. She drinks it mechanically, eyes vacant, blood still, on her hands. They put her in our cages afterward. She hasn't spoken since, just sits there, staring at her hands like they belong to someone else. Morrison breaks a little that day. I see it in how his shoulders drop, how his brotherhood pride cracks like bad concrete. They haven't even started the physical torture yet, and already he's eroding. The physical part comes on day 4. They start traditional. Bamboo shoots under fingernails. Where they even found bamboo in the Capital Wasteland, I don't know. Electrical wires attached to sensitive areas. Water torture, using irradiated water that burns as it drowns. Morrison holds out longer than most. Brotherhood conditioning runs deep. But everyone breaks eventually. It's not about strength or willpower. It's about biology. The human nervous system has limits. Cross them enough times and the mind simply shuts down sections of itself to survive. By day 6, Morrison's talking. Not coherently. His words come out in fragments, mixing brotherhood codes with childhood memories, tactical information with nursery rhymes his mother must have sung. The raiders piece together what they want from the rambling. Bunker locations, security protocols, the names of other paladins who might defect. But they don't stop. See, the information was never really the point. It's about the show, about sending a message. They record everything on old holotapes, planning to leave Morrison's armor and the recordings at Brotherhood checkpoints. Psychological warfare. Make the Brotherhood soldiers afraid of capture. Make them hesitate. Make them human and vulnerable. Rodriguez finally snaps on day 7. Not from his own torture, from watching. He starts screaming that he'll tell them anything, do anything, if they just stop. Says he knows where there's an intact water purification system, military-grade weapons cache, anything to make it end. They turn their attention to him for a while, make him prove his claims. When it becomes clear he's lying, just trying to buy time or mercy, they get creative. Make him choose which of us gets his food ration, which of us fights next, which of us gets to sleep without the lights and noise. They're turning him into a collaborator without him joining them, making him complicit. The others start looking at him differently, not with anger, with pity, which is worse. I've started to understand something about raider psychology. They're not just randomly violent, they're trying to prove something. That civilization is a lie. That underneath our settlements and trade routes and attempts at democracy, we're all just animals pretending. They see themselves as honest, pure. They've stripped away the pretense and embraced what they think humanity really is. Gutsor explained it to me once when he was high on jet. Pupils dilated until his eyes looked like black holes. You settlement folks, he said, words slurring slightly. You think you're rebuilding the world, but you're just playing house in the ruins. We're the truth. We're what happens when you stop lying to yourself about human nature. The bombs didn't destroy the world. They revealed it. He's wrong, of course. Has to be wrong. But after 47 days, no, 48 now, Catherine added another mark this morning. That wrongness gets harder to hold on to. You see enough brutality and it starts to seem normal, natural even. The chemistry of your brain literally changes under chronic stress, Cortisol floods, adrenaline burns out. You enter a state of permanent fight or flight that eventually just becomes your baseline. The new girl, the one who killed the boy, she started talking to the raiders when they pass. Not begging or pleading, just talking, asking about their weapons, their territories, learning, adapting. She's 11 years old and already beginning the transformation. Give her another month and she'll be one of them. Another month after that, and she won't even remember why she should feel guilty about the boy. Morrison's completely broken now. They've reduced him from paladin to something that barely qualifies as human. He soils himself regularly, the armor, making it impossible to maintain dignity. Begs for death in between, giving them every scrap of information he has. But they keep him alive. Keep him as an example. Sometimes they bring new captives to see him, to understand what resistance gets. Yesterday they introduced a new game. They call it promotion. One captive gets to leave the cages and become a probationary raider. The catch? They have to kill another captive to earn it. Their choice who, their choice how. And the victim knows it's coming, knows they've been chosen, has to sit in their cage and wait for their former fellow captive to come for them. The first to take the deal was a trader named Williams. Quiet man who'd been here almost as long as Catherine. He chose Thompson's widow, said it was mercy since she'd been wanting to die anyway since her husband's death in the arena. He strangled her with his bare hands while crying and apologizing. The raiders laughed, welcomed him, gave him jet to calm his nerves. 3 hours later, they shot him in the back of the head, said it was a test and he failed by choosing the easy target. The widow died for nothing. Williams died for nothing. But the game continues because now everyone knows it's possible. The temptation exists. That's the true genius of their system. They make us complicit in our own destruction, make us betray each other for the possibility of survival. And once you've crossed that line, once you've killed someone who was suffering, beside you, you can't go back. You're changed, marked. Even if you escape, you carry what you did forever. The lights are going out again. I can hear them preparing something new upstairs. More metal dragging, more laughter, but different this time. Organized, like they're setting up for something special. Catherine just looked at me with eyes that have seen too much. Tomorrow, she whispers, is selection day. Selection day. Catherine explained it to me in the dark. Her voice barely a whisper, like she's afraid saying it too loud will make it real. Once a month, the raiders choose 3 captives. One becomes a raider, for real this time, not like William's failed test. One becomes a slave, sold to Paradise Falls or the pit. And one becomes entertainment for the whole camp. The kind that lasts for days and makes everyone else grateful they weren't chosen. Morning comes with Gutsaw himself opening our cages. Not his men, him personally. He wants to see our faces when he decides. Wants to taste the fear. Morrison's still in his showcase cage, but he's stopped responding to stimuli, just rocks back and forth, mumbling brotherhood codes that don't mean anything anymore. Gutsaw walks the line, examining us like Brahmin at auction. He stops at Rodriguez, grins, passes by, stops at Catherine. She doesn't flinch, doesn't look, away. 49 marks on her arm now, each one a day she survived. A piece of herself she's carved away. You, he says to her, you've been here longest. You've earned consideration. Then he points at the girl, the 11-year-old who killed the boy. You've got potential, little killer. Finally, his finger lands on me. And you, the one recording everything on that busted holotape. Yeah, we know about it. Found it funny, like anyone's ever gonna hear your little diary. The 3 of us are dragged to the arena, but it's different now. They've built something in the center, 3 poles with chains. We're each bound to 1 triangle formation, facing each other. The entire raider camp files in. Must be 40 of them, maybe 50. Some I recognize from the roads, others are new. Young faces mixed with old, all wearing that same expression of anticipation. Gutsaw stands in the middle of our triangle, ripper blade humming. Selection Day is about evolution, he announces. About accepting what this world really is. One of you gets to join us. Prove that you understand the truth, that morality is a luxury the wasteland can't afford. One of you gets to live as property, still breathing but owned, traded, used. And one of you, well, one of you gets to be tonight's lesson. He produces 3 items: a knife, crusted with old blood, a collar, metal and heavy with Paradise Falls markings, and a small device I recognize with a sick drop in my stomach, a slave collar remote, the kind that can deliver enough electrical current to stop a heart. Here's how this works, Gutsor continues. You decide among yourselves. Come to a consensus. Choose who gets what fate. You have 10 minutes. If you can't decide, all 3 fates happen to all 3 of you. We've got time. The crowd cheers. Someone starts taking bets. Catherine looks at me, then at the girl. There's something in her eyes I've never seen before. Not fear or resignation, but calculation. She's thinking like them now, weighing lives and outcomes like a math problem. I should be the raider, she says quietly. I've been here longest. I understand how things work. I can survive it. The girl shakes her head violently. No, I already killed someone. I'm already broken. Let me be what they want. You two can what? I interrupt. There's no good ending here. Someone becomes a monster. Someone becomes property. Someone dies badly. Catherine's working something in her hand. I realize it's a piece of metal she's had hidden, filed down to a point over weeks, maybe months. She's been planning something, waiting. Listen to me, she says urgently. I've watched them for 49 days, studied them. The one weakness they have is they think they've already won, think they've broken us completely. But I'm still a doctor, still remember anatomy, still know exactly where to cut to make it quick. She's not talking about them. She's talking about us. The girl takes the collar, Catherine continues, her voice clinical now. She's young. Someone at Paradise Falls might actually treat her decent. Maybe she finds a way out eventually. Kids are valuable. You take the knife. Become one of them. You're strong enough to fake it, maybe find a chance to escape later. And you, I ask, though I already know. I take the entertainment, but not how they think. The crowd's getting restless. 5 minutes left. The girl's crying now, understanding what Catherine's suggesting. Understanding that the doctor, who's helped keep us sane, is planning to rob the raiders of their show. But Gutsor's been listening. Of course he has. He walks over to Catherine, examines her hidden shiv, takes it away almost gently. Nice try, Doc. But that's the thing about hope. It makes you predictable. He signals his men. They bring in 3 more captives. New ones, grabbed just this morning by the looks of them. A family, parents, and a teenage son. Change of plans, Gutsor announces. You 3 still choose your fates, but you're choosing for them, not yourselves. The doc here gets to watch her careful planning mean nothing. The girl gets to kill again, this time the mother. And you, he looks at me. You get to record it all on that holotape. Make sure history remembers what happens when you think you're smarter than the wasteland. The teenager breaks free for a moment, tries to run, doesn't make it 3 steps before a machete takes his leg at the knee. He screams, crawls, bleeds. His parents struggle against their bonds. Voices roar with anguish I can't describe and won't forget. The girl picks up the knife without being told. She's learned that hesitation makes it worse, makes them creative. Her hands don't even shake anymore as she approaches the mother. The woman's begging, not for herself but for her husband, for her son who's bleeding out on the arena floor. The girl says nothing, does what she's learned to do, survives. Catherine gets the collar. They're going to sell her to Paradise Falls, after all, but not before they break every finger for her attempted cleverness. She takes it silently, medically cataloguing each fracture like she's observing someone else's body. Dissociation, she told me once. The mind's last defense. And me. I get the invitation to join them. the knife heavy in my hand, the father looking at me with eyes that understand he's about to die. His son's already gone, bled out while we played, our sick game, his wife's corpse cooling at the girl's feet. "Do it!" Rodriguez screams from the crowd. They brought all the captives up to watch. "Just do it! End it!" The father nods. He wants it over, wants to follow his family. It would be a mercy, really. That's what I tell myself as I step forward, as I position the knife like Catherine once showed me, between the ribs, angled up, straight to the heart. Quick, clean, merciful. But mercy's not what the raiders want. They want a show, want me to make it last. Gutsaw nods toward the recording. "Device, my holotape still running in the corner. Make sure you get a good angle," he says. "Want everyone to hear this. I do it. God help me. I do it the way they want. Slow, inefficient, making sure the father feels every second, hears every cheer from the crowd. And when it's finally over, when I'm covered in blood that's not mine, when I've become exactly what they wanted me to become, they welcome me with open arms, give me jet to stop the shaking, give me a gun to make it official." The girl's sent to the cages to wait for transport to Paradise Falls, but her eyes are different now, empty. She'll never be a child again, no matter who buys her. Catherine's taken away by traders, medical skills, still valuable even with broken hands. And me? I'm a raider now. They tattoo my kill count on my neck that night. Just one mark so far, but Gutsaw says that'll change. Says I've got potential. Says everyone breaks eventually. It's just a matter of finding the right pressure point. He's right. I know he's right because I can feel it. The part of me that resisted, that recorded this as evidence of their evil. It's quiet now, drowned in jet fumes and blood and the simple animal need to not be in that cage anymore. They let me keep recording. Think it's funny, a raider documenting raider life from the inside. They don't know I'm going to leave this holotape here, hidden, in the wall where we carved our names, where Catherine made her 49 marks, where Rodriguez finally broke, where Morrison learned that power armor can't protect you from what humans do to each other. If you find this, if you're listening to this, know that I was someone else once, had a name that mattered, a life that meant something. But the wasteland doesn't care about who you were, only about what you're willing to do to see tomorrow. I can hear them calling me. Another caravan's been spotted. Fresh meat, they're saying. Fresh entertainment. And the worst part, the absolute worst part, is that I'm excited. Some sick part of me wants to see if they'll fight, wants to test this new thing I've become. The holotape's almost dead now. Battery finally giving up. Fitting, really. Everything dies in the wasteland. Your body, your principles, your soul. The raiders don't create monsters. They just reveal the monster that hunger and fear and desperation were always nurturing inside you. Don't come looking for us. There's no us anymore. There's just the waste and the things that survive in it. If the Brotherhood finds this, Morrison gave you up. Everything. If the settlements find this, know that your walls won't save you. The raiders aren't outside civilization. They're what civilization becomes when the rules break down. And if another captive finds this, hidden here in the dark, kill yourself while you still can, while you're still you, before you become like me.